Hello everybody, this is Dr. Ntabi speaking and welcome to my channel once more. I am going to be doing a series where I'm going to be talking to you about the 10 soft skills you need to keep your personal brand professional. And the 7th soft skill you need is adaptability or flexibility. These are so important because the environment in which we work is not static, it's constantly changing. Inflation changes what we do. The economy changes what we do. Politics, technology, and so on and so forth. Now, because of these changes that are happening, we cannot afford to be static because otherwise we are going to be left behind or we will expire, as I usually say. And right now, just think of the pandemic. Just forget everything else, but think of the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, we have to be flexible. We can't force to do things the way we used to do them because it's no longer working. So for you to adapt, you need to look at the situation and do a needs analysis. What's needed in that situation? Once you know what's needed, then you ask yourself, where do I need to adjust? And then also be willing to compromise where necessary. When you compromise, it doesn't mean that you have poor self-esteem. It doesn't mean that you are thinking less of yourself, and it doesn't mean that you are becoming a doormat. That's a completely different thing. When you compromise, you are saying, what is it that I'm willing to let go of so that I can still get what I need? To clarify this, I like using transportation. I'm in Bloemfontein right now, and if I want to get to Joburg, I have different options. I can drive, I can take a bicycle, or I can fly to Joburg. If I decide now that I want to fly to Joburg and I realize that the weather is bad, and you know when the weather is bad, the planes get grounded. Now, if I'm in that situation, I will need to be flexible and realize that if I want to go today, I might need to use a car. What am I doing? I am compromising my initial preference. A car will take longer, but at the end of the day, I will still get to Johannesburg. So that's what I mean when I say be flexible. You might plan things a certain way, but you can hit a situation that has a different setup altogether. So be willing to consider flexibility. And your willingness to compromise will always get you far. Because when you compromise, you also make it easy for others around you to compromise. People who are not willing to compromise are usually very selfish people. They just want their way, no matter what. And I always say, it's not about your way as much as it is about you getting what you need ultimately. So don't always stress about how you get there. Allow a lot of flexibility as long as you get to where you need to get to. So how can you adapt? Number one, get over the good old days syndrome. The older you get, is the more you will start hearing that from older people. They will say, how I miss the good old days. Guess what? The good old days are no longer working. That's why they're not here. We are now in the new days. So you can miss them, but don't force them. Remember, there's always a difference between the old norm and the reality. Right now, we are in a pandemic. And because of the pandemic, we are experiencing a new norm. I miss the good old days where thousands of people could gather, but that is not our current reality. So I cannot live my life backwards, wishing for what should have been or what could have been. I need to deal with the reality and adjust to that so that I still get what I need to get. Number 2, to adapt, you must change so that you can manage the process better. Remember that processes change all the time. Even right now, a lot of processes are changing. So you cannot come with an old strategy, a strategy that worked when the system or when the process was a particular way. If the processes have changed, you also need to change so that you can manage those processes effectively. You change what you are doing, you also change how you are doing it. That is very, very important. If you don't change what you do and how you are doing it, chances are very high that you're going to be irrelevant. And when you are irrelevant, you cannot get results. Number 3, you also need to change because people change. People are different. No one size fits all. So if you are a teacher, for example, the kids you are teaching today versus the kids you taught 15 years ago, they are all different. So you must understand that you need to work on yourself so that you are able to embrace the change. You know, talking about young people, there was a time when young people could just be given an instruction and they would go ahead and do it. Today, children are not like that. My kids are not like me. You know, when I was growing up, I never questioned a lot. If I was told to do something by my teachers or my parents, I would ask here and there, but most of the time, I would just go ahead and do it. My children are not like that. They want to know why they should do it. They want to know when they should do it. Sometimes they want to be given space to decide when they should do it, and so on and so forth. If I'm not willing to change, I can view them as arrogant or even disrespectful. But because I understand that we're living in different times, children question a lot, and questioning is actually a very good thing. So I've had to adjust. I cannot expect my children to be like me when I was their age. They are here and I must be here. I cannot say I miss the good old days when a parent would just speak and a child goes ahead and does what they were told. It's a different time. It's a different season. Right. And also when you change, you show people that you care. You care about them because you want to know where they are at and you want to work on yourself so that you are relevant with them. And I want to speak especially to those people who are your CEOs or managers or people who feel that they have more experience and you're working with the younger generation. You know, you've got to work on yourself because the young generation is the new blood. They're bringing a lot of ideas. They have incredible potential. So you want to make sure that you maximize that. Don't tell them that this is your space, you've been here and you know how things work. Yes, partner with them. Bring your experience, but allow them to bring their ideas as well, because fresh ideas plus experience will always give outstanding results. And number 4, show people that you are willing to adapt. In other words, showcase your adaptability. Be very open to alternative solutions. Don't just hold on to one solution that you feel very strong about. Sometimes you might need to let go of what you feel strongly about and go with what the whole team feels strongly about. Sometimes you need to let go of your way and embrace the way that will work for the whole team. Because remember, at the end of the day, you are heading for the same destination. You might feel like flying and the rest of the team wants to drive. So you won't die if you just drive. Let go of flying. Drive with them. It might take longer, but you might even enjoy the trip because you have more time to engage, more time to have conversations. All I'm saying is always look on the bright side. If they don't take your solution, they want a particular solution, find the bright side of that solution so that, you can be part of that, right? And then also you want to adapt your style. your style of doing things, your style of leadership, your management style. That also needs a lot of adjusting and a lot of flexibility. If you can do that, you will remain a relevant leader in your space. Right now, as we are in a pandemic, I'm a person who likes face-to-face conversations. Even when I do my coaching sessions, I want to be sitting with a person, either in their office or in my office, or maybe we're sitting in a hotel somewhere and I do a session like that. I like that. I've always done that before the pandemic. But the pandemic hit, and guess what? I couldn't do what I've always wanted. So I had a choice. Either I shut down the business, or I would embrace the new norm, because at the end of the day, I want to coach. So now I find myself doing more coaching sessions on Zoom. I have people in Durban, I have people in Joburg, I have people in Cape Town, different places. And I'm just sitting at home, and over Zoom, I'm coaching them. It's not my preferred style of coaching or way of coaching, but I have to be willing to adjust. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my business. And then, as I said, when you show people that you are willing to adapt, you will also be able to accept the unexpected. The unexpected happens. We are suddenly in a third wave. We didn't expect that. We thought that maybe COVID would be done by now. When COVID started more than a year ago, we thought by now, hopefully, this virus would be gone. But it was unexpected that we would still be here. But it being here does not mean we have to be stuck. We have to constantly be willing to be flexible. So all I'm saying is that don't allow yourself to be that clay that will dry up. If you are clay, always make sure that you are mixed with water and you are pliable. When clay is wet, it's pliable. You can turn it into anything. But once it dries out, if you try to turn it into anything, you're going to break it. So you must decide, which one are you going to be? Are you going to be pliable, or are you going to be that person that if we talk to you about change, you just break down? And that is not wise. You want to stay in the game and you want to stay relevant. So be flexible and be willing to adapt accordingly. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please share this video with 3-4 other people. Like it, give me a comment below. Let me know how you are receiving this content and if it's working for you. Thank you so much for joining me once more. God richly bless you.